afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing today? I hope this video finds you well and healthy, guys. I hope you've had an easy past couple of days, nothing too difficult with your lessons. Today is the second day of your social studies lessons for the week. It's your second lesson. We have one more on Friday, considering that today and Friday are both B days. So what I'd like to do today, guys, and what I'd like to talk about today is I want to talk about the presidency of Andrew Jackson. We left off with talking about the packet and talking about really kind of what happened during the time that James Monroe was president. Now, Monroe wasn't the focus, but we do know that Monroe kind of served as president during the period of time known as the era of good feelings. So that time period is really going to end with the election of 1824, which we're going to start with, and then eventually with the presidency of Andrew Jackson. So I want to take a look at kind of Andrew Jackson and his presidency and stuff like that. So the two things we will be discussing today, we're going to discuss the election of 1824 and 1828 and how they were different from each other. And we are going to discuss the Trail of Tears and Andrew Jackson's role in that event. So those are the two things I want to focus on. Those kind of give you an idea of Andrew Jackson as a well-liked president, and Andrew Jackson when he is seen as kind of a villain and kind of an evil president, basically. So there are two perspectives to Andrew Jackson, and I want to kind of talk about both of them to you guys today. My office hours today are from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So what we're going to go ahead and do, guys, is we're going to go ahead and go to this slide right here. This is where the video I'm currently recording is going to be posted, where you click to watch that video. The other video I want you guys to go ahead and click is going to be the teacher lesson video. It's going to go over these 4 slides, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's going to talk about those 2 elections, and then the next 2 slides are going to talk about the Indian Removal Act. So that's what I want to focus on. That's what I want to talk about today. So make sure you watch the video. Make sure you're following along with the slides, and make sure you kind of are picking up what I'm saying. If not, you can always take and email me during my office hours, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Excuse me. So once you finish watching that, once you finish doing everything that I ask you to do in the slides, you are going to do the check for learning. Now, before I continue on with the check for learning, there's something else that I just remembered. As I'm going through the video, towards the end of the video, once I finish talking about the Indian Removal Act, you'll notice in this slide that I have a link right here that links to a video about the Trail of Tears. What I would like you to do is I'd like you to go ahead and click on that link so that that will show up. If you give it a second, there we go. And then you can go ahead and click on the Indian problem. That is a YouTube video that I want you to watch. That is going to do a good job of talking about the Indian Removal Act and Andrew Jackson's role in it. It's a good video. It's only about 12 minutes long, guys, so it shouldn't be anything too bad, anything too terrible. And hopefully you guys will find it interesting and not overly dry and overly boring. So once you finish watching that video, and once you finish watching the video where I discuss those 4 slides, you're going to come down here. Make sure you click on that check for learning so that you can access the check for learning and fill in your answers, and make sure you submit it so that it is completed and you get credit for the check for learning. Don't forget to do that, please, ladies and gentlemen. There's been a few of you that have taken and accessed the slides but have not completed or submitted the check for learning. So make sure you do that, please. The last slide I want to make sure that I go over with you guys, like I've said, I just want you to watch the teacher lesson video and review the slides to gain a better understanding of Andrew Jackson and Indian removal. You don't have any homework today. The other thing I want to show you guys, and I haven't done this the past few weeks, but there's some good information that I was able to find about the Trail of Tears. if you want to go into more depth about the Trail of Tears. It's not something you are required to do, but I included these resources if, as you watch the video and as you hear me talking and stuff like that, you have any questions or you want to learn a little bit more about the Trail of Tears. The first link is a History Channel article. It also has a short video, but it is a History Channel article that will go into depth about the Trail of Tears and talk about Andrew Jackson's role in it. The second one was actually really interesting when I listened to it. It's an NPR podcast, and it basically gives you the Cherokee perspective of the Trail of Tears. So really, this podcast kind of boils down. It really takes a look at two particular families. It takes a look at the family who was kind of the leaders of the Cherokee at that time during the 1830s, during the Trail of Tears. And it takes a look at the family who signed off on, basically signed the treaty that gave the United States their land, gave the United States Cherokee land. There we go. So it's not only the different perspectives of the Trail of Tears, but it's what those families have had to live with since the event, since the Trail of Tears. And I thought it was a really good NPR podcast, guys. That's only about a half hour. If it's something you're really interested in, if you really want to know more about the Trail of Tears, this is a great podcast to listen to. And this is a great article to read that'll give you more information about the Trail of Tears. With that said, guys, please just make sure you access the slides. Please make sure you do the check for learning. You don't have any homework, so as long as you do those two things, you are all set. You will receive full credit so long as you answer correctly and you really think about the question, really think about the answers. Again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and reach out to me. I can help you with the check for learning if you need help with the check for learning. But my office hours today are from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. If you have any questions, reach out. With that said, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you tomorrow.